All right, I have a question for you. Did the Anunnaki destroy the civilizations on Mars? Think about this. Why would you just stop with Earth? There may be more to this than what you can imagine. So, this is the view that Martians have of Earth. We're blue, they're red. My question that I have been pondering, are they to blame? The Elohim? The Anunnakis? Did Inanna, the mother goddess of all humans? Odd that they depicted her like this. Could it be that she was more Martian than anything else? When you think about it, it's not that difficult if they had flying machines. Easy to go back and forth between Earth and Mars. I would probably say much easier Mars than, let's say, Nibiru. So the question I am asking, and you should as well, who is at war and why? Why was Mars destroyed? Again, if you believe the record, why would the creators, the gods, stop with Earth? What was happening to Mars when all of this was happening to Earth? Or is it more accurate to say maybe they invaded us after they destroyed Mars? No matter how you look at this, there does appear to be a war that is being or was fought on both planets. And it appears to be the same cast of characters. Is it not odd how we have in all religions a story of a catastrophe? Not water, but fire? So when you really look at this, you have to ask yourself, who are the primitives? Us? Yes. Is this a history that has been buried like here on Earth? I want you to notice both the helmet and the beard of Humarati. Could he have gone to Mars as well? Again, why just Earth? John Brandenburg wrote a book, Death on Mars, the discovery of a planetary nuclear massacre. What? Now, us Homo sapiens, we're very familiar with massacres. And let me ask you this. Would not a God also create life on other planets? I'm just asking. We know in India, on the Mahabharata War, the India nuclear war, nuclear weapons, an estimated 1.8 million people died. Did the same thing happen on Mars that's happened here on Earth? Not once, but apparently many times? Has the planet Earth gone through the same mutation process as Mars? Would appear. And when we look at the stone writings, it appears that it's just not limited to Earth. Now, these are pictures from the Russian probe, early 70s, of Mars. Look at this. Does this not look like cities? And what is this? If it's not man-made, then who made it? And what happened to the occupants? Yes, seems like it crash landed in the Martian desert. And even when filters are applied, you can very well see that this is not a camera anomaly, nor is it a rock that looks like a mechanical device. Yes, it's real. It's there. But apparently, it seems not to be alone. Seems like there's different makes and different models. And why would there be rodents, prairie dogs on the Martian surface? And when you look at those black rocks, indication of intense heat. Are there, in fact, humanids, humans, aliens already on Mars? Is what we are seeing, or what they've told us, what we were to see? That this is just merely a trick of the camera? Why, there's no life on Mars. Life can't be supported on Mars. Well, according to maybe a human makeup. But don't be fooled. They know what they're saying. They said human life. They didn't say other life. Because there certainly appears to be an abundance of life. Certainly seems to be, I don't know, evidences of something more than just natural. Cities, vast cities, industrial complexes. What happened? Why are they not there today? Why can they not show us where these photos were taken on Mars? The Russians have nothing to hide. They've lost their probe there. Something attacked it. Something shot it down. Could it be that what we are seeing is merely a mirage? Because there certainly seems to be an oddity of very sharp angles strewn about, as though something hard, fast, destructive hit. We also know as well that these cannot merely be aberrations of eroded rock. No, ladies and gentlemen, there is and there was life on Mars. But something happened. Could it be that the stories of our not so distant past is reminiscent of what happened on Mars in the not so distant past. The relics haunt us when we see these. It bothers us because, well, as much as we want to know that there's other life out there, to know that there is means we're not first. What happened on this planet? All evidence shows it supported abundant life. Was there a planetary war? Was Mars the victim of a much greater battle that left it apparently a desolate planet, incapable of life, but yet showing the ruins of abundant life? Striations into the ground that show one of two things: volcanism or something very hot on the surface. And the pictures we get are deceptive to the eye. Now, when put through different filters, it brings out, indeed, what the eye is seeing but cannot see. These are vast valleys, vast distances. You could see a city and not know that you were looking at them. Bring them out a little bit, take away what they added, stripped away what they laid in, and suddenly what looks to be a dry, barren, waterless planet takes on striking similarities to this planet here. How can we have such features on Earth that would indicate riverbeds, lakes, oceans, but yet we discount what we see here on Mars? Why did they nuke it? Why are they still nuking it? Is there still a war going on that we don't know about? Is this why Space Force is now ramping up with a blank check? What is going on? When we see pictures like this, how can this be natural, occurring? No. There's something else that they're showing us, but doing it in a manner we can't see. But now you can. This probably was a temple. And why do we see odd anomalies that would show either skeletal remains or fossils? Is there a life form, bipedal, humanid, that has adapted to the planetary conditions? Why would life be so unsustainable? Because we're so arrogant, we think we are life. We think we are the mold. We are not. Looks like a living thing to me. Looks female. Has breast. I'm glad to see that that's universal. That's just the male perspective. But the oddities abound. Mayan? Could it be As the Mayans said, their god took off in a ship. Why would it go into interstellar space when you have a planet that only take you a short time? We know that this is how ruins look here on Earth. Why would that not carry forth on another planet? Now, I'm sure nature just has an abundance of perfectly round cylinders all over the solar system, and just so happens to be placed in a most peculiar way. Precarious, to say the least. Now, there isn't supposed to be any other structures. We're told that this is just merely the part of the rover. Okay. All right. But surely this can't be part of the rover. Why, no, this is a satellite recon. I wonder if air traffic control has a problem with the traffic. Odd, too, how they try to tell us that this is merely an aberration of the camera at the precise view of where the light is hitting it. You know what? If frogs had wings, they wouldn't bump their ass every time they jumped either. Well, one of two things is the problem here. If it's not levitating, which is a problem, then how odd that you would have such a structure of rock protruding out of the ground in such a manner that it doesn't cast a shadow all the way through. And the shadow, the light, seems to be a problem here. But, hey, we've all been tricked before. Now, when you have the opportunity for a stationary platform that begins to take long pictures of areas, isn't it not odd that our creature at the top, you can see the top of the head on the bottom? How is that moving? A gust of wind? How would we define a life form? One that we can't imagine, one that our scientists have never seen. We have Bedouins here, nomadic peoples. Is this a lone figure coming out of the ground, survived the devastation of the wars, and now sees her planet lay waste? Yes. Oh, one can say, well, that's just an aberration of rock standing up there. Well, I guess that may be true. Could be, but I doubt it. Now, take a look at this fine fellow. Remember when I told you to pay attention to Hammurabi? Moan? Mesopotamian. Indi. Sumerian? Anunnaki? Elohims? Yahweh? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe there's more than just the Elohims. Maybe there are others that were there before. It does seem to have a wide diversity of life, does it not? And of course, metal always shows up on rock. Now, the official explanation for this one is that this was part of the parachute apparatus. I don't know. I see no parachute, but hey, this, in my humbled opinion, is an actual Anunnaki. I believe that this is evidence that they did exist and still do. Now, one can say, well, it's definitely a protective biosuit, it would appear. Would also appear it is well armed. Please notice on the right that when you see the device right here, there are all sorts of instruments that you could tell could be GPS, could be a radar locator. It's quite obvious. The eyes, what kind of head would fit in this? Well, I tell you where we've seen this before and why it haunts us, because they were here. Is this what the Anunnaki looked like when they were on planet Earth? We seem to think that they walked around in just their skin with no covering. Maybe they had to wear biosuits. And more importantly, check out this right here on the left, bottom. Seems very odd, does it not? Look at the rock and the strata around. I don't know if this is a centurion, a soldier, but if there's one, there has to be others. Are these calcification mummies? Or are these indigenous life forms that suffered the devastation of a nuclear attack and calcified their bodies? Seems like we have that story somewhere else of a woman looking back. And when you begin to get the anomalies of such structures as these, I don't know if it's so much of a structure as it maybe is, I don't know, let's say an opening, a fortification that would lead you down into the planet. And why is it that curiosity, and very odd that when we look down, we can see that this is the rover. Why is it circling that craft? They say that this was a rock, but I've never seen a craft with such defined edges. Curiosity has got my curiosity, and this was 2012. Looks like a spaceship to me, does it not, you? Yes, yes, yes. Primitive life or indigenous life that has survived the attacks? Seems like life was there, but something immediately calcified it. Giant worms? We don't know what life actually is. We define it by our narrow parameters. Don't know. Why do we have evidence of bacterium, in the fossilized record. Again, what type of weapon would turn a living thing into stone? We've heard of this story. And then there can be creatures of such vast size, or a gated protective barrier to the inside. There was obviously a war, one that had devastating effects. And pyramids. How do we get pyramids again on another planet? I do not know. And take a look at this. Yeah. That to me is a very telling sign. I don't know. Is that someone, a creature again, that faced a weapon that so burn it? Don't know. I don't think it's a rock formed by wind and dust. Pyramids, pyramids, pyramids. Everywhere there are pyramids. You know, it doesn't take a lightning fast mind to begin to say, well, why? Then the diversity of the type of life forms. It's like you almost have to begin to get a new classification. Statues. Maybe living beings. This one appears to be female as well. Huge. Were they the Nephilim? Is this where the Nephilim went? Is this why the war was fought there? Strange fortifications, anomalies that don't make sense. Are there human beings that have been a casualty of mechanical malfunctions? That died and took their religion with them? All evidences of a past civilization. Strata and the topography that does not make sense. And is it the fact that we have actually seen the water? Because it said that it can't flow, it's too cold there. And that's what they tell us. Well, when you look at it, you find out there apparently is much more moisture even in the desert. It appears that rivers flow. And it also appears that there was life there, much like life here of the dinosaurs. Certainly seems to be a vertebrate to me. Why would not Mars have fossils? Remember that statute with the helmet? Looks real familiar, doesn't it? Oh, more round balls? Why, this one actually has color to it. How does that happen? And, you know, as a Boy Scout that I was, I know what looks like to be burnt carbon. That looks to me certainly to be, well, you could easily construe or construct a possible living form out of this. I wonder what burnt it. And again, curiosity just finds the most curious photos. Levitation again? How does that happen? And when you look over at the structure on the right bottom, how does nature form that? This picture right here is just filled with fun oddities. And I haven't seen the width of curiosity, but this is curious. Particularly, how can it make a print inside the print that would be smaller in the width? How many of those little boogers do we have up there? I mean, did they got Uber up there or what? Yeah, it would appear there is more than one. And you know, I don't know, but I've been in the desert and I've driven out in there, but I don't recall a barren soil leaving marks that look remarkably like mud. Wet. And of course, the strange ones that they give us that are so out of focus, so blurred, we could be looking at an object and not really know. Now, folks, this is where it gets weird. We got statues just like those here. And that looks oddly like a building fortification. Looks almost defensive in nature, doesn't it? Yes, those that were here were there. It's undeniable. Different type of gods, but they look so eerily familiar and resemble a lot of the same characters here. Yeah. There's just some things that you look at and you go, well, that doesn't look quite natural. And you'd be right. Again, structures? I dare say yes. Why? Because we see the similar ones right here on Earth. Particularly more and more is very reminiscent of India. Yeah, we get those, I don't know, funny squared rectile blocks. Does it have writing on it? And there is our craft. Looks like it's been there a while. Odd how wind. We can't say water because they say there's no water up there. So how does this happen? Again, why are there nuclear weapons on Mars? Yeah. Don't know how water flows on Mars, but this is a picture from Mars, folks. And if you're trying to tell me that that's not a river, well, you're entitled to your opinion. But if I was out there on that terrain, well, if you're telling me that's a mirage, I'm going for it. Odd meteorites, too. Never figured out what is the white spots. Is she just out viewing? Looks real to me. That damn sure looks real to me. Who was it? What species was this? What did they know? Why were they attacked? Or did they do this to themselves? Or did these guys do it? Seems to be a lot of similarities between the gods here and what we're seeing on Mars. Life that shouldn't exist everywhere. Structures that are not natural in formation. My question is, how many died? And if this happened to Mars, is the Earth next?